Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Talk. So let's run down a few things with you here for Bitcoin. We've had the weekly close. So nice. We've had a couple. The only downside here, I should say nice. We're holding above some key levels, in my opinion. We've had two weeklies now that we've rejected from the 618 here. So we are hitting head-on resistance, which is totally expected. I do expect a consolidation pattern before a push. So don't be too upset if we have a week or so sideways, another 2 weeks before we have a big push up. And I'll get into that why here in a little bit. On a different chart, but I wanted to show you this one while I had it laid out again. If you hadn't seen the previous video, the last time we had this breakout in September, this RSI weekly breakout, we had an 85% move. If we have the same thing from this bottom here and this breakout, you're going to have an 85% move, which brings you to 158, roughly speaking. If you do other measured moves and other targets off of the cup and handle pattern, it's between 135 and 155, 158. A lot of other people are kind of pointing towards the 128, 125 mark. That's, in my opinion, profit taking for some stuff, especially alts. I think alts are really going to start to blow up once you get past the 110 mark for Bitcoin. So I do like to pull up the RSI periodically, pretty much on the weekly only, just to kind of monitor stuff like this. If you run down to the actual Bitcoin chart here, we are getting a nice push down. We're basically revisiting the breakout zone for a retest. Nothing, it's actually kind of bullish. If we have a turnaround here shortly, you're going to have a bull div playing out here on the hourly, a massive bull div. You've also left behind a massive liquidity curve here. So the likelihood is New York's going to try to take that. I don't see why they wouldn't. So really there's not much else to talk about. If you look at other coins like AVAX, same thing. It's got it's retesting. It's the weekly VWAP, previous week VWAP coming up at this point in time. Same thing. It's coming back down. You're going to retest, maybe even as low as the 786 from the breakout point. For short-term trading, I do like turning on the TPO settings, see where the actual, well, these are pretty obvious. You got a massive liquidity curve here on AVAX as well, which will likely get filled this week. I don't see why, if Bitcoin moves, this doesn't make another move towards its yearly VWAP up here. Really not much else to talk about. Wanted to bring back up again. Other math is showing if this does not get rejected like last time, we have basically a 375% move with diminishing returns by 50%, and that'll put us at the 340 mark. And that's exactly what I'm showing on another chart. It was as high as 340. So let's start one step at a time. You got to get past the all-time high. Really, we need to get back above the 99 mark. A lot of liquidations will happen here for shorts. But we're not out of the woods yet, right? You got a lot of massive shorts sitting up here at the 786, which is coming in right around the 102, 380 mark. And then the 886, which Asia loves, is the 105, 856 mark. Those are key levels. If we do flush lower, I'd like to see us hold 92,000, which is the 0.5 fib. We hold that on hopefully print a trigger wave. You can see now we're just dumping. So I don't see why we can't come back down a little bit lower. Could come all the way back down here to 90. You got the yearly VWAP down here at 90,840. That would grab all this liquidity here, make a massive V-shaped recovery. That's probably what I'd like to see, is a cascade of short longs that just got too happy too quick. And then look for a big push, but you got a massive liquidity curve if and when things start to level out, and move on from there. Zooming in, 24-minute. There's not much else to talk about. I'm not even going to pull up Glassnode. I've done this before. It's just there's so much stuff saying we're on bottoms of everything. So fear and greed, we're still in the low end. I think we're in the 30s still on the fear and greed index. We have a long way to go before that gets to become bullish again. And about a dozen other indicators that I do follow are showing that we are sitting on the bottom of those charts. So this point is just wait. I have alarms set for certain times, so my next alarm for a long on Bitcoin will be down here in 92,890, which is the previous week low. maybe a wick down under that. And I've also drawn a couple different range value area ranges here. You got another one coming in right now. We're bouncing off of. We're trying to hold. That is a value area low. Another one's also down here at the 92,000. Call it 35. The 2 point of controls are up here. We did have our top line of the anchored VWAP all the way up here at 97,000. Let's call it 200. And then if we zoom out a little bit more, the actual VWAP is all the way down here now at 89,550. That is kind of like my line in the sand. You got to hold above that to maintain bullish. And really, we don't want to drop below the yearly VWAP at 90,000. Let's call it 845, currently speaking. And then you've got the previous week VWAP coming in roughly around 91,000. It's called 700. Those are levels to watch. Not much else is happening. I will say I am surprised your micro alts like my KDAO are holding up very well. Things are just waiting for Bitcoin to continue. Solana, Sui, the same thing. I'm even watching this guy here, Mr. OM. They got rugged with some other stuff. So even this one's starting to print a bull div. You got decreasing price action, increasing momentum. So I am contemplating on putting a 5x long in some point in time at this guy just to ride this up. I think once this starts to go, this has got so much room to run back to where it was. So it rugged from $6.39, now sitting at 39 cents. So you drop, that's another $6 to go. Percentage wise, what is that? It's 1,500%. So why not take a gamble? Take a small percentage, throw 5 or 10x leverage on it. Just be careful because this thing is so dang volatile. But I do think sellers are exhausting, and it's showing that in the market cipher. B here. I love seeing my yellow X's. That's manipulation. That usually means someone's pushing it down to buy more. Do be aware that you have an SFP potentially down here at 36. Let's call that 36.96. This is on the Binance chart. So pay attention to the money flow here as well. You've got the VWAP and the RSI starting to point back up here on the 4 hour. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you still have a bull div here on the 4 hour. So I do think we can come as high as the previous week EQ, which is also in confluence with the previous week VWAP, and probably get another rejection up here at the value area low of this range we sat in for a while before we dropped off again. But nothing like everything else. You got a nice liquidity curve that had not been taken out yet. So if this looks decent in the morning when I wake up, I'll probably put a little small trade there if I like what I see. But that's straight up a gamble. There's no guarantee with this coin being the fact it's had so much negative publicity. Bitcoin, same thing. Just looking for these massive cascades to stop, and then you could probably look for longs. I'm not looking for longs, particularly on Bitcoin. The freaking fees are just so high. I'll just buy and hold for Bitcoin. I'll treat Caspa and BitSensor the same way and just buy and hold. But that's really about it. Not much else to talk about. Last but not least, this cycle is still valid until proven otherwise. Potential cycle peak is coming in the second week of October, but something the first, I'd say around the 7th to the 14th of October is kind of where I'm projecting a market cycle peak. There's a lot of other indicators saying with the global money supply and debt cycle and QE hadn't even started yet, this could push 3 months past. So we can talk about this based on where price levels are once we start to approach October. So my current thesis is you've got 3 months of up. This ran for 91 days last time, so I expected 91 days, which would bring us right on July 7th. So it should be a pretty significant sell-off and or massive consolidation starting around July 7th, and then likely consolidate/dump until probably early September, and then really make that last leg push. Keep in mind, alt seasons, people think alt seasons are supposed to last forever. Alt seasons last usually 3 months. So once Bitcoin breaks this all-time high, I think you're going to have 3 months of an alt season, and it's going to be bananas, and then pretty much all she wrote. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I'm just going off of math and the history. So We will have to wait and see. Again, Bitcoin is coming off of a massive multi-year cup and handle pattern. And it's also an inverse head and shoulders, technically speaking, as well. So you got several different projections here. This one has a measured move of about 285,000. Does that mean we're going to get it? No. Bitcoin likes to do over performances, so that 350 is totally likely, but you're never going to catch it unless it's a wick. Put your limit, sell at 350, but I would definitely start to scale out 10% at a time above the 125 to 130 mark, based off what other indications look like with market Cipher, B, money flow, RSI, all that fun stuff. So I will leave you guys with that. Nothing I say is financial advice. Best of luck. You want to find me, Hibber Crypto Blackwall on Twitter, the Blockart Discord. I will have some more Fusio stuff coming up. Fantasy Fusio should launch this coming week. Software, as you know, is lovely, and it is never on time, so I do apologize. The wallet should be out sometime in June, so that's exciting, and that's probably the main thesis and crux of our entire project. We're going to see what we've been working on for 3.5 years, so we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. But as you know, iterations happen and things change. We make improvements, and then of course, that slows down the whole development process, and the devs say this takes way longer than I'm expecting it to. I wanted it done yesterday, but I don't have endless amounts of money to push this stuff out, but I think you're going to be stoked once you see it. But I'll have a Fantasy Fusio tutorial this week, hopefully, along with the information on how to play the game. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Love you. Bye.